Hi, Scott from Digital Fish here, just with a real casual video on smoking fish. I've just started to get into smoking fish and loving it. It's really awesome. It's fairly common to buy the stainless steel rectangular boxes, a couple of trays inside with a lid, and you put the tea tree sawdust on the bottom, on the inside, and then your fish split open on the racks inside, and there's a little cup of methylated spirits underneath. You light that and it burns away for about 30 minutes or so, and there's heat generated and the sawdust burns, and it kind of cooks the fish and gives it a smoky flavour, and that's hot smoking, so it's a fairly fast process. Cold smoking is a bit different, where it's really a lot of smoke that's being generated that actually really helps cure the fish. So it's not really the heat, it's really the smoke, and so that infuses through the flesh a bit better. I would highly recommend soaking your fish in a brine solution overnight before smoking. This really helps give the fish a great taste combined with the smoky flavour, and helps give it a nice golden texture. Making a brine solution is really easy, and you can get really creative with it as well. The sort of brine that I use is pretty simple. It's 4 cups of water to 1 cup of soy sauce, and then a quarter cup of salt and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. I use non-iodized salts, just the sea salt, rock salt. Boil about a cup of water, dissolve the salt in that, and then mix everything up together so that it's nice and even. Pour it over the fish and soak it overnight. Wash it off, drip it off, dry it off, and then I like to put cracked pepper and lemon rind on top of that, and then smoke it, and it's really delicious. But there's so many different things you can do. Some guys like to use bourbon in the brine, or if you want to spread chili flakes over it or garlic. There's just an endless array of ways to smoking fish the way you want to do it, but it's really, you can be really creative. So a couple of tips: hot smoking is usually a short time, and have a low heat that's just making the sawdust sort of burn gradually. You want lots of smoke, but you don't want lots of heat, basically, and you can experiment. So for my setup, what I've done is I've converted the wife's Weber barbecue into my little smoking house. I've put sawdust on the bottom of it, I've got a tray on the top with the fish, and then I've rigged up a one ring gas burner underneath, and it provides a nice constant source of heat. You can use fire, some guys like fires, that's all good, and you can obviously build your own wooden smokehouse if you want to. That looks like a lot of fun. This was easier for me. With a bit of trial and error, what you want to do is just have the heat just hot enough so that the sawdust is burning, but it's not catching on fire. And one of the guys I was talking to was Michael Parker, aka Smudge. He's a great fisherman. He terrorises gurnet and mullet all over the place, especially the west coast. And one of his little pieces of advice was, you kind of want the temperature where you can place your hand on the smoker, and it's warm to touch, but it's not too hot that you've got to take your hand away. That's the sort of temperature you're looking for. Again, just a nice gradual sort of heat that's going to help the sawdust burn, generate lots of smoke, but not generate lots of heat. So however you want to set that up is basically the basic principle. I did a couple of small trevally fillets, and that was about 40-50 minutes basically. They were pretty thin, maybe it was an hour. Kingfish, about an hour and a half. With the salt and the brine, that helps draw the moisture out of the fish, and it gives it more of that cured texture, and the smoky flavour is all the way through it, not just on the surface, and that's what I find delicious, is when it's done like that. I vac packed the last lot of trevally that I did, and it lasted for about 5-6 weeks. It was pretty awesome, and it was still delicious after that time. So that's how I like to do my smoking, and it's really worth giving it a go. So I'm smoking my son's first kingfish. He's really stoked, and we're going to enjoy it a bit later.